Hey friends, our story this week is called Silly Sally. Oh my goodness, look at that girl. She does look really silly. Look at her title. What do you notice that's the same about those two words? Yeah, they both start with the letter S. What sound does an S make? That's that snake sound. So we have to keep our teeth together and our tongue behind our teeth. Kind of like a cage, and there's a snake in your cage, so you can't let your snake out. Don't let your tongue out. Silly Sally. Oh, man. The author's name is Audrey Wood. That's who wrote the book, our author. Now, before we start reading this book, we have some vocabulary words to look at this week. One of our words is jig. What is a jig? Can you tell from that picture? Yeah, that girl's dancing. A jig is a lively dance with leaping movements, kind of like jumping. So they're dancing and jumping around. That's a jig. The next word is loon. That's a tongue lifter. Lift your tongue up for that. Loon. What is a loon? You're right, it's a type of bird. It is a bird that lives in the water, has webbed feet, so it's kind of like a duck. But its feet are really far back. Look, they're almost close to his tail. And that makes it good for swimming and diving. We have one more word. Tune. Right down here. What's a tune? A song. You're right, that's an easy one. A tune is a song. So we have jig, it's kind of like a dance. Loon, which is like a duck. And tune, which is a song. Yeah, it's some music. All right, so when we read our story, you be listening for those words. Okay, Silly Sally. Uh-oh, did you see? These pages are sticking together. Here we go. Oh my goodness, look at that picture. There's lots going on. Silly Sally went to town. Is that how you would walk to town? That's not what I would look like if I was walking to town. There's the town over there, and here's Silly Sally. How's she gonna get there? Think she's gonna look like this the whole way? That would be really silly, wouldn't it? Let's see, it says Silly Sally went to town walking backwards, upside down. She is gonna go to town looking like that. She's walking backwards and upside down. Do you think you could walk backwards and upside down? I know I could not walk backwards and upside down. That would be way too silly. Look at what else is in the page. What do you think this is? Looks like some mud. There's something in that mud. I wonder what it's gonna be. There's a little house. Oh, she's gonna have to cross a bridge. That bridge goes over the water. I can see something in this water. I see something white over here in the field. I wonder what that might be. Oh, look, there's a person going to town too. Do you think Silly Sally and this person over here might be friends? Maybe they're both gonna go to town. Maybe they'll meet there. No, let's find out. Silly Sally went to town, walking backwards, upside down. the way, she met a pig, a silly pig, and they danced a jig. You're right, that was one of our vocabulary words, a jig. There they are, dancing and jumping up and down. That's a jig. What else do you notice about that word jig? On the way, she met a pig, a silly pig, and they danced a jig. You're right. Pig and jig rhyme. Oh my goodness. I think we might have lots of rhyming words in this story to be listening for them. This is where we stop today. Now today, we met two characters from our story. What two characters did we meet? We met Silly Sally and we met Pig. So today you are going to make one of those characters. You are going to make Silly Sally. So in your packet you should have a paper, kind of an example of a Silly Sally. They used a plate and they drew Silly Sally's face on it, so eyes and a nose and a mouth. And then they gave her silly hair because look, Silly Sally has some silly hair. What did they use for their hair? Oh yeah, they used some pipe cleaners and beads. So you could use pipe cleaners and beads. You could use yarn. You could use paper. You can do whatever you want to make your Silly Sally look silly too. Once you get it done, take a picture of it and send it to us. We would love to see your Silly Sallies. Have a good Monday. Hi friends, it's time to read our story again. Our story is called Silly Sally. Ooh, there's that snake sound. Silly Sally. The author's name is Audrey Wood. What does an author do again? She writes the words. You're right. So Audrey Wood wrote the words Silly Sally. Here's that Silly Sally again. Silly Sally went to town, walking backwards, upside down. Did you hear anything? Listen to those words again. Silly Sally went to town, walking backwards, upside down. I heard two rhyming words. Remember yesterday we said there's going to be some rhyming words, so you have to listen. Keep listening, there might be more. All right, who does Sally meet on the way to town? Oh, she's going to meet a pig next. Let's see. On the way, she met a pig. He was a silly pig. And they danced a jig. Yes. Here they are, jumping and leaping, dancing that jig. So let's see, when she was walking, first she met a pig. Who do you think she might meet next? Who's next on the path to town? Let's find out if you're right. Go, she meets her pig. Here they go. Silly Sally went to town, dancing backwards, upside down. Ooh. So Silly Sally and that pig are dancing upside down. How silly of them. You right. She met a dog. On the way, she met a dog. A silly dog. and they played leapfrog. Oh, I heard those rhyming words again. Dog and leapfrog. Dog and frog rhyme, don't they? Oh my goodness. First she met a silly pig, and now she meets a silly dog. This is a silly story. Silly Sally went to town, leaping backwards, upside down. Oh my goodness. So first, she was walking backwards, upside down. Then when she met the pig, they were dancing upside down. And now with the dog, they are leaping upside down. I wonder who she's going to meet tomorrow. Oh, we'll find out. Okay, well today is Tuesday, so for today's small group, you have two pieces of paper in your packet, and they have that bridge on it, the bridge that was in our story. They look like this. And then they have some of our characters on the bottom. So the first thing you'll have to do is cut out those characters. So on those dotted lines is where we're going to cut. Remember, hold your scissors so your thumb is up and cut on those lines. And if you want, you can color them in so it's nice and colorful. And then you have to follow some directions. You have to listen. So on this one, it says, put the pig over the bridge. So we're going to work on some of those position words like over, under, beside. So you'd have to put the pig over the bridge. Which one of those squares is over the bridge? The square on top, this is over the bridge. Now there's more directions. You have to follow those directions and put the right animal on the right square. I bet you guys will do great. Have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hi friends, it's time to read our story, Silly Sally. Have you tried to do flips backwards and upside down yet? I haven't. I think I'd break a bone. Good thing Silly Sally is talented. Looks like she can do lots of stuff backwards and upside down. Silly Sally went to town, walking backwards, upside down. On the way, she met a pig, a silly pig, and what did they do? They danced a jig. What were those two words that rhymed? Pig and jig. Silly Sally went to town, dancing backwards, upside down. Look at her and the pig. Oh, they are so silly. Dancing backwards, upside down. And on the way, she met a dog, a silly dog. And they played leapfrog. You are right. What are those two rhyming words? Dog and frog. Yeah. Silly Sally went to town, leaping backwards, upside down. Oh my goodness, look at them leaping around. Now yesterday you took a guess of which character was going to come next. Let's find out if you were right. Who is Silly Sally going to meet today? On the way, she met a... Oh, that was one of our vocabulary words. Do you remember? We said it's not a duck, but it's kind of like a duck. It starts with our tongue lifter. Loon. Yes, on the way she met a loon. He was a silly loon. And they sang a tune. Look at them singing away. Oh my goodness, they are so silly. Silly Sally went to town, singing backwards, upside down. Look at all of them singing. Whoops, there went the iPad. Let's get that set back up again. Okay, hope it stays. Uh-oh, what's wrong with my book? It's upside down. You better turn it over. Whew, that looks better, doesn't it? Silly Sally went to town, singing backwards, upside down. Oh, I think I see the next character. Do you? Let's find out. Uh-oh, look at this. My tab is right there. That means I have to stop. I have to stop today. We can't go any further. We'll see tomorrow if you were right which character is next. Today, you guys are going to do something fun. You are going to make yourself into Silly Sally. In your pack, there's a picture and an example. Look at this person. They took a picture of themselves and put it upside down. It says, Silly Riley went to town. And Riley wanted to jumping backwards upside down. So you can either take a picture of yourself and put it upside down, or you could draw yourself. You could draw, remember how we draw a map? Maybe you draw our head, and a square or circle for our body, the arms and the legs. Just make sure you draw them upside down. And then we put your name in there. So mine would say, Silly Kelsey went to town. How would I want to go to town? Ooh, I think I would want to fly. So I would say, Silly Kelsey went to town, flying backwards, upside down. And then you need to draw the space behind you. So if I was flying, would I be on the ground or in the sky? I would be in the sky. So I would make sure I drew clouds around me, the sky, maybe the sun. Maybe there were going to be some birds that were flying by me. So we cannot wait to see your pictures. When you draw them, take a picture and send them to us. We would love to see it. Have fun being silly. Hey friends, it's time to read our Silly Sally book again. Let's see what she's gonna do today. Have you been silly yet today? I bet you could be silly with Sally as we read. Silly Sally went to town, walking backwards upside down. Can you do that? I can walk backwards, but not upside down. On the way, she met a pig. He was a silly pig, and they danced a jig. Silly Sally went to town, dancing backwards upside down. Look at them dancing. It looks like they're having fun. Who's she gonna meet next? I think so. Oh, you're right. On the way, she met a dog. What kind of dog? A silly dog. And they played leapfrog. Oh, look at them. How are they getting to town? Are they dancing? No. They're leaping, you're right. Silly Sally went to town, leaping backwards, upside down. On the way, she met a loon, a silly loon, and they sang a tune. Perfect. Silly Sally went to town, singing backwards, upside down. Oh, look at them singing. I bet they're singing pretty loud. You think the people in town can hear them? They might be able to. On the way, she met a sheep. He was a silly sheep. They fell asleep. Better be quiet. Look at them. They're sleepy. Can you sleep upside down? I don't think I could sleep upside down. I would get a headache. Oh my goodness. Now they're all sleeping. Oh my goodness. And look, the loon is sleeping way up here on Silly Sally's feet. How silly is that? Now, how did Silly Sally get to town when she was sleeping backwards upside down? Is she moving? I don't think she's gonna get to town. She better wake up. Oh, we have a new character. His name is Nettie Buttercup. Along came Nettie Buttercup, walking forwards and right side up. He's walking like we do, isn't he? Forwards and right side up. Looks like he's gonna make it to town. I don't know about Silly Sally. What do you think is gonna happen? Do you think he's gonna wake him up, or is he gonna be quiet and sneak around them? Don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Today in your packet, you should have something to make some puppets. You have 2 papers that have all of our characters on them. How many characters do we have in our story? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 characters and there's 6 puppets. So you are going to color all of our characters today, and then we're going to cut them out. You can put them on sticks if you want. If you want to make puppets like that, maybe you just want to hold the paper, that's fine too. But we're going to color our characters and then cut them out. The first character we met was who? Silly Sally. And then Silly Sally met a pig. Who did she meet after the pig and they danced a jig? It was somebody who she played leapfrog with. The dog. Yep, she met the dog. And then she sang a tune with the loon. And then she fell asleep with the sheep. And we just met this character. Do you remember his name? Nettie Buttercup. And he walked forward and right side up like we do. Alright, so you get these colored and cut out today, and then tomorrow when we read the story, you can use your puppets along with the story to help me tell the story. Okay? All right, I can't wait to see your puppets. Hey friends, it's Friday and we get to finish our story. And do you know what else is exciting about today? You made those puppets, so get them out so that you can use them and help me tell the story, because I'm going to need some help today. Get out your puppets. Here we go. Silly Sally. Silly Sally went to town. How did she get there? Walking backwards, upside down. I have my puppet here. Here she goes. She's gonna walk to town, backwards and upside down. On the way, she met a pig. A silly pig. And they danced a jig. Here's my pig. And here's my Silly Sally. And they're dancing around, having fun. Silly Sally went to town, dancing backwards, upside down. Ooh, make your pig and Silly Sally dance upside down. On the way, she met a dog. He was a silly dog. And they played leapfrog. Can you make your Silly Sally and dog play leapfrog? They're jumping over each other. How silly would that be? Silly Sally went to town, leaping backward, upside down. Well, look, we have Silly Sally, the pig, and the dog all leaping to town. Oh, who are we gonna meet next? Get your puppet ready. On the way, she met a loon. He was a silly loon. And they sang a tune. La 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 la. You make your loon sing a tune. Yeah. Silly Sally went to town, singing backward, upside down. Oh, there they all go. Make them sing all the way to town. Sheep puppet ready? Good job, there it is. On the way, she met a sheep. He was a silly sheep. And they fell asleep. Shh. Good night, sheep. Go to sleep. Now, how is Silly Sally gonna get to town when she's sleeping backwards and upside down? I don't think that's gonna work. Who's gonna come next? Get out your Nettie Buttercup puppet. Here he is. Along came Nettie Buttercup. He was walking right side up. Look at him. What is he doing? He's tickling them. He tickled the pig who danced a jig. There's our pig. He's dancing. Ah, silly Nettie Buttercup, you're tickling me. And then he tickled the dog who played leapfrog. That dog jumping over him, playing leapfrog. he tickled the loon, who sang a tune. La 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 la. And then he tickled the sheep. What did that sheep do? He fell asleep. Oh, that silly sheep. If somebody was tickling me, I would not be able to fall asleep. Would you? Let's see what he does to silly Sally. Then he tickled Sally, who woke right up. There she goes. She wakes up. And she tickled Nettie Buttercup. Tickle, 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 tickle. Oh, look at him. He's laughing. It's like, that's too funny. Too ticklish. And that's how Silly Sally got to town. Whew, thank goodness for Nettie Buttercup for waking her up so she could finish getting to town. Look at all of them walking upside down into town. Walking backwards upside down. Who else is walking backwards upside down? The whole town is. Whoa, that's a lot of people walking backwards upside down. What a silly story. Thank you for reading that with me. I hope you liked it. Have a silly weekend. See you later.